everyone. Here we are with the second of 4 quarter bracket breakdowns today. Right now we're doing the West. Starts out with Arizona as the 1, Wisconsin as the 2, Creighton as the 3, San Diego State as the 4, Oklahoma as the 5, Baylor's the 6. That Baylor-Nebraska matchup is interesting.
Very interesting.
This bracket is the weakest by far.
Yeah,
it's
definitely
unbelievable how weak it is. Jack and I agree that if you just put Louisville in there instead of San Diego State, it makes everything great.
It'll be great.
Geographically, that's tough. But anyway, over the fact that it's really weak and that the tournament committee did a really confusing job on making the brackets so dissimilar.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's your favorite matchup in the first round or the second round, the round of 64? First real round.
The first real round, I think it's got to be this Baylor-Nebraska.
Yes, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the best game. Or Oklahoma-North Dakota State.
5-12 is always fun.
Yeah,
I also think Creighton-UL Lafayette is interesting because Creighton is very underrated.
A lot of people have been high on this Lafayette team. I think that when you have the best player in college basketball,
it's hard to lose in the first round.
Really hard to lose in that first round.
And at first,
especially in his senior year, McDermott is the real deal.
And if he
plays in it may be a soft conference, but he is a real deal. If you watch him play for 5 minutes, you'll know he's a player.
Off the ball, especially, he needs 112 points to get to third on the history of the NCAA scoring list.
He wants that.
Are you kidding me? Third all time?
All time.
Where did this guy come from? He plays at Creighton. Are you kidding me?
And the best part of that, as you always say, his father is the coach.
And he is paying his tuition so he can have an extra scholarship player.
I love that.
That doesn't happen, and then you lose in the first round.
Yeah.
That doesn't just happen. That's too good of a story.
Yeah, exactly.
So Creighton, that upset's over. What about this 4-13? Do you see San Diego State having any? I see him having trouble with New Mexico State. I just think they're too strong to get through. Too much experience, especially at the head coaching position.
Fisher, he's a Michigan man.
Won a national championship.
Won a national
none of his own players.
Couldn't
win one with his own players.
Yeah, if you ever watched that Fab Five documentary, if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's
if
amazing.
You haven't watched it, turn this video off and watch it right now.
Yeah,
and then turn this back on.
Anyway, yeah, he's the coach now for San Diego State, and I watched them play New Mexico, and it was a loss. It was such a close game, hard fought. They have some serious players. They have one guy. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he's their main guy, and you'll know who he is, right? If you watch that game, he's great. He's a guard, and we love guard play in the tournament. In the postseason.
It's the most important thing.
And they have a great coach. He's this guard. He's a scorer, and more than guard play. You need a guy who can score the ball when you need one, and he's that kind of guy.
And Doug McDermott is too. This bracket's very interesting. I think Wisconsin is the weakest of the twos because they started out 16-0, then they lost 5 out of 6, then they won 5 out of 6, then they lost 3 out of 4. And the loss of 3 out of 4 is recent. Then they just got beat up by Michigan State. Michigan State is a fantastic team.
Yeah, Wisconsin is definitely a weird 2 to me.
I going on to the second round, I have Arizona playing Oklahoma State. I have North Dakota State upsetting Oklahoma. 5-12 upset alert. It happens. 26 of the last 28 years. It's going to happen again. North Dakota State will beat Oklahoma in the first round. They will. That's a 5-12 upset.
They have some real players on that North Dakota State team. And
they're big. They're huge. Big. They are huge down low. Anyway, I got San Diego State playing North Dakota State. I want to put North Dakota State into the Sweet 16 so bad. I just can't do it.
Wait, you have Creighton playing them?
No, I have San Diego State beating North Dakota State in the second round. Okay. I have Creighton playing Baylor. That Baylor-Nebraska matchup is interesting.
I have Nebraska moving on just because I think I'm a little bit more biased towards the Big Ten. They went on a little bit of a run at the end of the year, getting that 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament.
It's funny they get a higher seed in the NCAA tournament than they do in the Big Ten tournament. Isn't that funny?
No, Nebraska. It's Nebraska.
Oh, Nebraska.
Yeah.
My bad.
Not Wisconsin.
My bad.
No, Nebraska. I think that.
I was like, weren't they the number 2 seed?
No. I think that Nebraska is going to. I think Nebraska's going to win this game. I think Baylor has been kind of struggling to find a great identity all year.
I just think they found it in the Big 12 tournament. I think they got to the championship game. They upset Oklahoma. They upset Texas. They didn't have to play Kansas. They played Iowa State. And Iowa State played them well. Iowa State's another very good team that we'll get to. But Tavon Austin just scares me. 7 foot, 7'3" wingspan, defensive presence.
Isn't Isaiah Austin? Something like that.
Yeah, whatever. His last name's Austin. What did I say?
I think Tavon.
Wide receiver for the Raiders.
It's Isaiah Austin. He's the guy with the rec specs. If you
but either team, Baylor or Nebraska, over Creighton, do not sleep on that game because Creighton has Doug McDermott and I have them getting through, but that's going to be a dogfight. And Creighton's not necessarily set up for the NCAA tournament besides the fact that they have Doug McDermott.
Creighton is small. Their 2 frontline guys are 6'8" and 6'8", 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah. Maybe 6'9", but
maybe in shoes. I think
listed as 6'9".
Yeah, I think especially if they go up against this Baylor team, I don't know if they're gonna have a great response to Isaiah Austin. I think that ultimately Creighton's gonna get out of there though.
Yeah, so you have Creighton, Wisconsin. I think that Oregon-Wisconsin matchup is interesting, too. This bracket's so weak.
Oregon had some scorers on their team. I have them beating BYU and maybe beating Wisconsin.
See, I'm thinking about that's one of the upsets that I'm thinking about a lot because a 2 seed, traditionally 2 seeds don't fare as well as you think. There have been more that have gotten knocked out in the second round than there are that have made it to the Final Four in the last, I think, 4 years. 2 of them got knocked out. Missouri and Duke got knocked out. That was 2 years ago in the same round, both to 15 seeds. Georgetown lost very famously to Florida Gulf Coast to Dunk City last year, but I think that Oregon has a very good chance of beating Wisconsin. But let's get to the real matchup. Oklahoma State versus Arizona. Honestly, I'm such a big Marcus Smart fan. I have Oklahoma State going through.
I am still struggling with this one.
Oh, I'm struggling. It's a hard pick.
It is one. I think this might be the hardest pick of the entire bracket.
And whoever goes through changes your next picks because you probably have Arizona beating San Diego State, but I don't know if you can have Oklahoma State beating San Diego State.
Exactly.
So
I think San Diego State matches up a little bit better with Oklahoma State.
And to give you some help on this Arizona, Oklahoma State, Marcus Smart is a stud. He's one of the top 5 players in college basketball. And they're playing the right way. They challenged Oklahoma State without Embiid, which is a little troublesome for me because they're not too big.
Right.
Yeah, Kansas without Embiid. They're not too big.
Yeah,
so Arizona, Aaron Gordon could give them some trouble.
Yeah.
But guard play. And Arizona has a fantastic point guard in Nick Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
That's being underestimated by us completely. But
no, but I
still got to look at it.
Oklahoma State is probably the best point guard in college
Marcus
basketball.
Smart.
Yeah, Marcus Smart.
Besides Scotty Wilbekin.
Well, I think Marcus
think Marcus Smart's better. Yeah. I think he's going to be a better NBA player than Scotty Wilbekin.
Talent-wise, I think Marcus Smart is the best in college basketball. And I think we put so much emphasis on guard play, and it makes me want to choose Oklahoma State, but you can't. This Arizona team at 30-4, they haven't.
They got upset by UCLA, but that was a very good UCLA team, and they've got this kid Nick Johnson. They've got a very good point guard in their own.
They've had some injuries and some key players get knocked out, but they play so well as a team. Everybody knows their role on the team so well. It's really hard for me to pick.
If there's going to be one that's going to lose in the second round, it's either going to be Wichita State or Arizona.
Yeah.
But if there's going to be one of those teams that has a higher chance of winning, I think it's Arizona. The safe pick is Arizona. But if you want to pick an upset, if you want to change your bracket compared to the people that are also in your group, Oklahoma State is not a safe pick, but it's a smart upset pick. There's going to be upsets that happen, and that's a smart upset pick.
Yes.
So do you have Arizona beating them, or do you have Oklahoma State? Right now, if you had to pick.
Right now, if I had to pick, I think I would go Arizona. I would too. I think they've been the better team all year. Everybody knows their roles really well. They have good guard play. They're well coached.
So who do you think gets to the Final Four? I think the winner of that Arizona-Oklahoma State game gets to the Final Four.
I think that's the decider. I think you really, unless unless you as the viewer see any other really, if you're like high on Wisconsin or something, maybe high on San Diego
Maybe you're a big Creighton fan, you know. Doug McDermott can drop buckets.
You can't.
That's not a bad pick.
Yeah, not a bad pick.
Any night he can go off for 45.
Any night. I mean, you can't really go against.
And how many college
Doug
teams
McDermott.
score more than 70? Not many.
Exactly.
So 45, all you got to do is get 25 more points and you got a victory.
But I think unless you're really high on one of these other teams, I think you have to pick Arizona or Oklahoma State. Whoever you have winning this game, I think you got to pick them for the final.
Yeah, and they match up well with the other teams that are in this bracket. I think San Diego State would have the best chance to beat Oklahoma State.
It's just such a weak section.
I have my original bracket at Oklahoma State. Right now I'm leaning towards Arizona because Nick Johnson just keeps popping up in my head. He can. If there's anything, I mean, I don't think that he evens out Marcus Smart, but he comes as close to it as possible.
Yeah, and Marcus Smart will definitely have his hands full on defense, and I think when he has his hands full on defense, that's when the other players on his team needs to step up more, and they have shown to not be able to do that as much. I think
when he's the guy, so much.
I mean,
that was a long time ago, but oh my gosh,
it's had such an effect on them.
They just found their stride without Cobbins, almost at the latest possible time they could.
Yeah, this is probably one of the toughest brackets or toughest sections
because it's so weak.
Because it's so weak,
and that Oklahoma State is a strong 9 seed, but but the 4 seed and Creighton and Wisconsin. I mean, I think those might be the weakest. The 2, 3, 4 seeds might be the weakest 2, 3, 4 seeds of all the brackets.
Definitely. So yeah, that's kind of
Arizona's a safe pick. Oklahoma State's a fun pick. Wisconsin's probably a pretty smart pick. I think with all the games, all the upsets that are going to happen in this bracket, I think Arizona's the most likely to get through it, and then Wisconsin. But I think Oklahoma State can beat Wisconsin.
And I think you really with this bracket as a whole, with the competition as in NCAA basketball right now, you're gonna have a lot of upsets.
And a 13 seed has never been as close to a 4 seed as they are.
Exactly. It's gonna be. And
tough. This is the only bracket I see where you could see a 12-13 matchup in the second round or in the third round.
I agree.
Whatever. The stupid 4 play-in games that they call the first round, so everyone else has a bye. No, that's not the first round. That's a play-in game.
Yeah, it's a play-in game.
They're in the NCAA tournament, but it's a play-in game.
Yep.
It doesn't start until Thursday.
All right, well, that is our
West.
Look out for our other videos on the South, East, and Midwest regions.
Coming at you soon.
All right, I will see you guys later.